the shocking truth. Was Napoleon not French? Before he became a mighty emperor, before all of Europe bowed to his footsteps, before the name Napoleon became an eternal symbol of strategy, power, and ambition, he was just a small, frail boy living on a poor, occupied island full of conflict, a lonely child torn between national identity and personal ambition. And if you think Napoleon was born into luxury, destined to rule, forget it. The real story began in a place few people paid attention to, the island of Corsica. And in today's video, you'll see that Napoleon's childhood was not only the beginning of a legend, it was also the clearest explanation for the boundless ambition he carried throughout his life. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, the capital of Corsica. But here's what you might not know. Just months before his birth, Corsica had officially been annexed by France after centuries under the weak control of the Republic of Genoa. That means Napoleon was born during one of the most chaotic periods in Corsican history, a land torn between its native identity and foreign occupation. And it wasn't just a political event. It was the air he breathed, the reality he lived, and the very first taste of life that shaped him. His father, Carlo Bonaparte, was a young lawyer who once joined Corsica's independence movement under the national hero Pasquale Paoli. But when Paoli was defeated and forced into exile, Carlo quickly changed sides, pledging loyalty to the French government to ensure his family's survival. Napoleon's mother, Letizia Ramolino, had a deep influence on his character, strict, frugal, full of resilience, never complaining, and always valuing honor above all. Napoleon grew up in a family with minor noble roots, but lived in constant hardship. Ajaccio, his hometown, was a small city with dusty streets and sun-cracked rooftops under the harsh Mediterranean heat. This was not a place for royal dreams. It was a place that forged grit, honed willpower, and demanded people fight to survive. In his early years, Napoleon was heavily influenced by Corsican culture, where honor and loyalty mattered more than life itself. By the fireplace stories, traditional songs, and memories of guerrilla wars between Corsican militias and the French army, all of it built a fiery and conflicted world inside the young boy's mind. On Corsica, he didn't speak French at first. He spoke Italian. In fact, his Corsican accent later became a reason why other students in France mocked and looked down on him. But this very environment planted the seeds of defiance and the desire to escape. The more he was held back, the more he burned with the need to prove himself. As a child, he spent time reading books on ancient history about Alexander the Great, Hannibal, Caesar, men who rose from obscurity to become legends. Napoleon didn't play like other children. He thought, he observed, and he dreamed of a world far greater than his tiny island. At the age of 9, thanks to his father's connections, Napoleon earned a scholarship to study at Brienne, a military school in France. For this poor island boy, it was more than just an education. It was his first time leaving Corsica, stepping out of his narrow world to face a cold, unfamiliar one. And indeed, Brienne was far from welcoming. He was mocked for his Corsican accent, isolated because of his poverty and foreign roots, and looked down upon for being different. But instead of collapsing, Napoleon chose to endure in silence and study relentlessly. He quickly rose above his classmates in science, math, and military history. The strict discipline from his mother and the steely determination built from discrimination helped him turn humiliation into fuel. And deep down, he kept telling himself, "One day, none of you will dare call me a country bumpkin again." Even while far from home, Napoleon never cut ties with Corsica. In the early years of the French Revolution, he returned to the island, hoping to ally with local forces to restore Corsican autonomy. He even wrote to Pasquale Paoli, offering to help create an independent Corsican government. But Paoli, now older and suspicious, saw Napoleon as a traitor, a product of France. Tensions peaked, and Napoleon was forced to abandon Corsica. And with that, he let go of the dream of Corsican independence. Though rejected by the childhood hero he once admired, Napoleon never forgot the lessons Corsica taught him. He carried that identity in how he governed, in his views on honor, and in his direct, sometimes cold way of dealing with people. He understood that power doesn't come from titles, it comes from ability. And that ability? He forged it himself, starting from the moment he was a child left between two worlds. If Napoleon had been born in Paris, he might have been a comfortable aristocrat. If he had come from a wealthy family, he might never have needed to fight to be seen. But because he was born in Corsica, an invaded, poor, and tense land, he became a man who refused to bow, who never accepted a fate written for him. Napoleon's childhood is living proof that one's environment, no matter how small or harsh, can shape greatness, if the person within has enough desire and determination to rise above it all. And above all, it shows us it's not titles, it's not background, it's the spirit and how we face adversity that defines the true worth of a person. If this story inspired you, leave a comment below and tell me what part of Napoleon's childhood impressed you the most. Do you think a person's roots influence the path they choose? And if you want to follow the rest of Napoleon's journey, from military student to young general to Emperor of France, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next episode of The Truth About Napoleon, where we uncover one of the most fascinating and mysterious figures in world history.